Yeah, good morning, friends, and welcome you to one more programs organized by the team Mehta and Mehta. This is a very current topic, CSR recent amendments, and we also added CFO and KMP's liability also to make it more interesting. And to deal with the subjects, we have a very prominent faculties and subject expert, Mr. C.P. Ashok. He's also he's a chartered accountant and company secretary with 2 decades of experience. And he's into vocational training in CSR and has worked with ICA Edu Skill Private Limited Company for almost 2 decades. And he has worked with a Hero Group for 4 years as a CSR head. Now, this large corporate house also have a separate department where the people are heading those department also anyway. And he's also currently heading the Symbiosis Skill and Professional University. So we welcome you, sir, and we will definitely be very happy to learn many things from you. And the other faculty is Mr. Rakesh Kumar. He is a company secretary and heading the CSR functions of the company Star Union Dai-ichi Life Insurance Company Limited. And he's also managing trustee of Sud Life Foundations. So again, Rakesh bhai, welcome you to this program. And of course, let me introduce Mr. Bala. He is always a part of our Mehta and Mehta's Saturday presentations. Worked with multinational company for 4 decades. So we always, privileged to have his experience, sharing with us. So welcome you, Mr. Bala. So now, what I'll request Mr. Bala to take over from me. Yeah, Mr. Bala.
Good morning to all of you. I have a great pleasure in welcoming you on my own behalf and also on behalf of Mehta and Mehta. The CSR has been a current topic which has been actually came into much focus after it has been mandated in the year 2014 after the Companies Act for the first time. But it is not that the CSR has been come only after 2013 Act has come into force. Even earlier to that, many people have been doing it CSR, though it was not mandatory, it was actually voluntary. And there are a lot of organizations who have been actually indulging the CSR, but however, it has been now made by the regulator that the companies who are actually making the profit, who are actually getting revenue from the society, they should definitely give back to the society something. From that, it has been made mandatory, which we, all of us have. We had a past CSR presentation also as well. But since CSR now, what is happening is it is not only giving a benefit to the people, but also what is the impact it makes. What is the impact on the companies? What is the impact on the society as a community as a whole? These are all actually matters in the both the process. It is like a give and take procedure because we give back to the community. Community definitely look forward. Old timer here they will recall, but those were the days when companies were actually concentrating only to make profit. Somehow or other, anyhow, it is a capital base. We have to make a profit. Now today the entire concept is changed. The investors are more concerned whether the company is making a profit, they are actually following with the rules, regulation, complying with the requirements, whether the compliant company, they are governed company, they are more interested before investing the things. That is number one. Now in this respect, CSR in the recent past has been actually added and it actually brings the more brand value to the company. Now the people are definitely looking forward. What are the CSR activities done by the company? What is it is giving back to the society? What is the impact? They all want to be part of it. And not only that, the employees of the organization definitely get connected with the community. That is another important thing which actually happens because of the CSR, which has actually come to the process. And of course, CSR has got many other benefits which we have talked in the past. I won't get into the detail on that. As Atul has said it, we have the 2 prominent faculties and they have the very, very practical experience of the CSR, hitting the CSR department as a head. And I see many, many things which is coming out from this because the recent amendment is actually putting really the companies have to monitor, they have to do the impact assessment. Earlier, the company knew to have only the CSR committee. Now the company's amendment says, even if you have the unspent amount of the CSR. To monitor that unspent amount, you need to have the committee and you know to actually follow it up, you know to see. That is the extent the amendment has actually come. I think Dali is going to take through the various amendments today. So definitely speaking, it will be very interesting to know what is the current amendment which has actually come, where we are heading it. And above all, I think our faculty will also say there is a very good opportunity for the company secretary faculty as such to venture into the new area of the practice on CSR, which is going to be in a very long way. As you are all aware, there is also a separate stock exchange that come social stock exchange, which has actually come. The people who want to contribute, they can go through the stock exchanges and etc., which is definitely created for that. That is another development which has taken place, about which also we spoke about it. I think with this, I will ask Ashok to spare some of his thoughts before we start the program. Over to Ashok, please.
Thank you, sir. Of course, this is amendment has been made in September 2022. Before that, company were not much aware about the CSR activities. Now, company have to take responsibility to spend the amount, whatever amount liability is there. I work with Hero Group. I work with IC also. And company are very much aware now that company have to spend the amount whatever the liability is. Since as per new amendment, lots of penalty also has been raised and it has been amended. So as a CS or as a key member of the company, we have to of course think that how we have to spend the amount, how we have to plan the amount so that within a year, whatever liability is there, we have to spend the amount. There are some changes in implementing agency also. Earlier there was some limitation that these are the implementing agency only can do the work of CSR. Now it has been widened up. So on that basis also, company has some exemption that they can do better for spending the amount, and some more organization has been added for spending the amount. And as far as liability is concerned, we should plan earlier so that whatever a liability for a year should be spent within a timeline, because some amount, unspent amount can be transferred. But if it is not transferred, then we have to, if not spent, then we have to do transfer on a specific account within a specific time. If it is not been done, a heavy penalty has been raised as per amendment. So we have to very conscious on that, what is the plan of that, how much amount has to be spent, and what the plan for implementing agency. You see, of course, we have to collect from, if we are spending through implementing agency, we have to take UC from them. Since I am working with different corporate body for CSR funding, they are very much aware that how much amount we have to spend this year, and they are asking for from each of implementing agency how much your plan till March 23. So from this now they are getting the data that by March 31st 2023, how much you are going to spend. And accordingly, they will plan that this is the liability and we have to spend that amount or not. And if any amount have to transfer on unspent amount, we have to plan that next year, if that to be how we have to spend. So on that basis, we have to very care of, that means be careful on that, so that we will not get any penalty from the company. So this is my view. Thanks a lot, sir.
Over to Rakesh, please.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to, first of all, I'd like to thank Mehta and Mehta for giving me this opportunity. I'm audible?
Yeah, very much.
Thank you. So giving me this opportunity to share my view on CSR, latest amendment and the practical aspects of the CSR particularly. I can say that CSR, the opportunity for the CS fraternity is huge, humongous. Why I'm saying, because being as a compliance officer under the Companies Act or the governance professional, Every day, alternate day of the month, we are getting some circular, some guidelines, some direction from the ministry that how we have to do the CSR contribution, what the CSR initiative should be, and the area where we should do the CSR investment, etc. and etc. So being as being as a company secretary or other professional like CA, member of Institute of Chartered Accountant and all, they have the huge opportunity. If I talk particularly for the CS, because we are initiating the compliance. If I say my personal view, I have a long experience, not long, but 10, 12, 15, 20 years experience of doing the CSR, CS work, doing the compliance, arranging the board meeting, legal prospects of the companies, and etc. and etc. But I got the opportunity in 2012 to see how we can enter into the CSR things. It gives the passion. If you have a passion, then only you can enter into the CSR. Compliance, anybody can do. There is a checklist. We are doing the checklist, this, we can do it. But if you have a passion, then only you can achieve the target or achieve the main motive of this regulation, guideline, or the government who are coming with the, which is coming with the lots of amendments, etc. and etc. So being as a CS, we should take this passion, enter into this CSR activities. If I take and continue with the latest amendments, ongoing, what we are talking about that the contribution transfer of fund, unspent fund to the separate bank account. We should be very particular for our budgeting. Once we are doing the budget for the CSR, there is no question or no worry that we have not spent the money. How we can manage it, that is more important. Why? Because once we are doing the planning for the CSR budget, we should understand the activities which are ongoing projects and which are other than the ongoing projects. So we should be very particular. If any activity which is other than the ongoing projects, we should spend within the financial year so that we will be free from any of the penalty or going to the any of the object given under the Schedule 7 and we have to spend, which is not exactly the plan, the policy, CSR policy permits. Second part is the ongoing projects. Because if you think about the sustainability of any of the CSR project, the project goes for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, it happens. It's very natural. So what we can do? We should in the first board meeting itself, once the budget is being approved, we should identify the activities which are ongoing projects. In the minutes, it should be minutized that these are the ongoing projects, and accordingly, the project may delay because it takes time. There is a different lots of reason of delay of the CSR projects, ongoing projects particularly. So we don't have to worry about it. Now, if I say why the projects are getting delayed, there is one reason that if we really look forward for the sustainability of any of the CSR intervention, it is requirement to contribution of all the stakeholders is very, very much important. Like for an example, if I say, like in my company CSR project, we are doing the CSR activities at 500 kilometers away from Mumbai, my office, that is in the Jalna district, where we have adopted the villages. In those villages, our purpose is to make the villages self-sufficient. We introduced Atmanirbhar project in 2013 that we will make the villagers self-sufficient. How they can be self-sufficient? It is here all stakeholders are our villagers, government agencies, and the company which is going for doing the CSR activities. So for contribution, if we have to take the contribution of the stakeholder, main stakeholder, the villagers, what the contribution will be? The contribution will be the monetary contribution, or they can contribute through the participating in the labor contribution, etc. and etc. If I take monetary contribution, there being the challenge, because the villagers have the limitation of sharing their fund. If I am doing for the farmers get money only after the cultivations comes out, it goes to the market, then only they get money. If weather is not conducive, then also there is a delay for contribution. So there is a possibility their contribution will get delayed. Our project may get delayed. Second thing, the government contribution. Government contribution in terms of bringing the government scheme in the villages is very much important. And we know that government schemes to taking into the village or to the taking to the real beneficiary, it takes time. There is a process. You have to follow the process. Considering everything, there is a possibility of delaying the project. So we should be ready. We should plan accordingly. And of course, regulatory requirement we have to ensure. So this is my limited experience till now. I will contribute further. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for your thoughts. So before we request Dolly Thakkar, let me introduce her also. She is part of our Mehta and Mehta team. She heads our CSR practice. So Dolly, thank you for your presentations. So we can start with it, Mr. Bala, with your permissions.
We can definitely start.
Yeah, Dolly, you can start. Yeah, we'll just ask.
First of all, I would like to welcome Ashok sir and Rakesh sir and all the attendees on behalf of Mehta and Mehta. So now we will start our presentation on CSR. It's visible?
Yeah, visible.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So first of all, we will start with the CSR amendments that came up in September 2022. Okay, and along with that, in Amendment 2021, there was an amendment of CFO has to give the certification for the CSR span during the year. Okay, so we will just start with what is the CSR. So before Companies Act 2013 has introduced CSR, CSR was already in place. So many corporates was doing it, for voluntarily. For the giving back to the society and a cleaner environment and taking care of their stakeholders. Okay, so that's how CSR has introduced by Companies Act 2013. Moving forward, so CSR is basically self-regulatory business model which helps corporates to be accountable to their stakeholders, to the government, to the public at large. So basically now corporations have started taking the CSR and also the ESG very seriously, and they have started doing the CSR projects. Okay, so expenditure of CSR activities, it got introduced in 2014. And thereafter, Companies Act has, introduced many amendments in year 2020, then 2021, and now recent amendments was there in the 2022. So this recent amendment was basically talking about the, establishment of CSR committee, changes in the expenditure for impact assessment. There was a revised format of Annexure 2 that company has to, give in their annual report. So now we will go into the details. So first of all, there is a basic constituents of a CSR. Like there was the one goal was towards the sustainable economic development, make the desirable social changes, also to improve the social environment. In 2013, Companies Act has introduced the CSR with a section 135. And also they have given the rules for the CSR, and also there was a schedule 7 for the list of CSR activities. And in section 135 they have introduced on which company CSR will be applicable to all the company whose net worth is 5 crore or more, or turnover is 1,000 crore or more, or net profit is 5 crore or more. To them CSR is applicable. Also,
so Dolly, 1 year now, and see when you talk about 1,000 crore ka turnover,
yes,
does it? I don't know. Is there any clarifications, Mr. Ashok, on this? Whether this also includes GST and all? Because Now this, GST comprises of something more than 10% or 15% of your, turnover. So when you say that, you have to, once you cross 1,000 crore, this thing is applicable. So yeah, Mr. Ashok.
Yeah, in my opinion, it should be the including that one also, because this is a part of cost.
Okay. So yeah, so it means, it has to be included, right? So this 1,000 crore is inclusive of GST.
Yeah, 1,000 crores, Atul, what you bill to the customer, because that is the revenue company earns.
Oh, okay.
Because what is the invoice? Invoice is including of GST. Whatever
Okay.
you collected, out of that you pay the money.
Okay.
So turnover will always be the total value of the invoice which is issued by the company.
Right, but see, that is not coming into my pocket. I mean, ultimately, I'm collecting on behalf of the government. So maybe, I don't know whether there is a clarification on this, because even in Companies Act also, they have loosely used that word many places, the turnover and all. Yeah. So because somewhere, then, those company below those 1,000 crore also get, yeah, so that's what, so we have Ashish, written in this comments, the GST is not a revenue for the company. Anyway, so probably we can deliberate in some other time, but
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, Dolly, you can start.
Yeah. So to that company who's immediate, in their immediate preceding financial year, if they are meeting that limitations which is set by the Act, then they have to comply with the CSR obligations. And now company has to, spend every financial year at least 2% of the average net profit of the company made during the 3 immediately preceding financial years. So it is on obligation on the company that they have to share at least 2% of their average net profit of 3 preceding financial years. Also, if they are their CSR spend is exceeding 50 lakh, then they have to constitute the CSR committee. And along with that, they have to build up the CSR policy, which will be the part of the annual report. And also they have to indicate in the CSR policy, the activities on which they are going to spend during the year as a CSR spend. So the next very important, this amendment got added in year 2021. Okay, so there was a concept for the CSR project impact assessment. So here every company having the average CSR obligation of 10 crore rupees or more, in the 3 immediately preceding financial years, they have to conduct the impact assessment to an independent agency of their CSR project having outlays of 1 crore or more, and which have been completed not less than 1 year before undertaking the impact study. And that impact assessment report they have to place before the board, which shall be annexed to the annual report of the CSR. So now moving onwards, we will focus on the recent amendments of the CSR. The first amendment was regarding the CSR committee. So the company to whom the CSR committee formation is not applicable, but they have certain amount in their unspent CSR account, then they have to form the CSR committee to look after that and to monitor that CSR fund, which is there in the unspent account. That was the first amendment. And then there was another amendment. If they are no longer, meeting the requirement of CSR spend, like they have to do the CSR spend every year, like 2%, then they don't require to, form the CSR committee. Apart from that, there was a change in expenditure for CSR for impact assessment. So earlier it was a 5% of overall expenditure or rupees 50 lakh, whichever was less. In the amendment, it can be the expenditure on the social impact assessment can be less of 2% of all CSR expenditure or rupees 50 lakh, whichever is higher. And then the on the later part of the amendment, they have introduced the revised format in the annual report on CSR activities, which is format annexure 2. So it is almost similar like what they have introduced in the amendment 2021. So these are the changes which they have introduced in amendment 2022. So first they have introduced executive summary of impact assessment on CSR project.
Ali, certain questions have come in the meantime. Can we address those?
Yes,
What-
yes. Sure.
What is the meaning of the net profit for the purpose of section 135(1)? How to calculate the net profit? That is the first question. I think the net profit has already been defined in the Act itself. How to calculate, isn't it?
Yes, yes. In
We know-
135, yeah.
Yeah.
So according to section 198,
Yeah.
The company has to follow the section 198 to calculate the net profit as per section 135.
Yeah, it is already laid down.
Yes, yes.
And then there is another question as good, but GST is not the revenue for the company. GST is deposited by the government. And again, I have a comment from Sudhakar Saraswatwala. Thank you very much, Mr. Sudhakar. Welcome to you for this program. He says turnover is defined under section 291 of the Companies Act 2013. This is what it is to be taken into the account. Absolutely, it is right, because turnover is already defined. We cannot do anything under 291. Very categorically talks, it is the gross amount. That is what I said in the beginning also. What is the total amount which is billed by the company as per the invoices? It is a gross amount. Whether it contains tax and other thing and all, those are the compliance obligation which is coming later part of it. As Atul said, somebody wants to debate and discuss, that can be done. But the rule is this: it is the gross revenue which is earned by the company. That is what it is given 291. I think Sudhakar has rightly quoted the section. So there is no question of talking further on this. I think this answers the question on that. Then I guess the GST complains with respect to turnover to curtail the window dressing. Anyway, that is a observations or comment here. The revenue recognized the P&L account, hence including GST. Yeah, that is correct. Absolutely, your understanding is correct. Net profit should be taken as per the section 188. That's what Dali also said, that we discussed that. But the definition of the net profit in CSR rule different, and section it says as per section 198. No, it is not different. It is actually given what is to be taken. That's all it is referring. That's all. Net profit means the net profit of the company as per the financial statement prepared in accordance with the applicable provisions of the Act, but shall not include any of the following. Yeah, that is there. This is what I said. The law is already prescribed that. So we'll have to go by that only. That's all. Nothing else. Yeah. Yes, Dali, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the annexure 2, in the recent amendments, they have introduced the executive summary, which is the company has to provide in their annexure 2, which is again there to be a part of the annual report. Then they have removed the table which was there for the set of ongoing project other than ongoing project. Now you have to indicate the figures that you have spent on ongoing project other than ongoing project. And then they have introduced the new table format for the details of unspent.
Just 1 minute, Dolly.
Yes.
Mr. Rakesh, I don't know what is an objective of removing that project spent. I don't know. See, by amending this thing, again and again, they are creating a confusion and making it more complicated. I don't know.
Practically, if I say now the new annexure or new disclosure, this is more have better clarity than the earlier. Yeah. So it is already segregated how the net profit or contribution amount should be calculated. What will be the treatment of the surplus amount? How we can do it? Set of how it can be done. If we have created the asset, and then what will be the treatment of it? So I think this is the better version of annual disclosure in the director's report.
Okay. Noted. Yeah, Dolly.
Yeah, so we have the format of annexure 2. We will be discussing that at the later stage. Okay, so they have introduced the new table format for unspent CSR amount of the for the.
Sorry, 1 minute. Can I say?
Yeah.
Just the different aspect of calculation of net profit. I just like to add that if like an investment company, if we are doing investment in any of the company, which company is CSR compliant company who are also contributing in the CSR activities, and we are getting some dividend on that. that dividend amount will not be considered as our profit. So that adjustment we can do it. That opportunity we have to do, just to put up to the knowledge of the.
So moving onward, it is the same amendments which got introduced in Amendment Rule 2022. We'll be focusing on the impact. Now the companies are allowed to keep unspent amount relating to ongoing project in designated account, but have to utilize it within 3 financial years. Now they have to compulsory form the CSR committee, and the CSR committee will oversee its utilization. Then the amendment has omitted the sub-rule 2 of Rule 3. So after the omission of Rule 2, only a company which are falling under Section 135(1) shall require to constitute CSR committee. Therefore, if CSR applicable on company for 1 year, then CSR committee can be dissolved after 1 year. So now companies to whom the CSR is applicable just 1 or the 2 year, they have to form the CSR committee just for that particular year of applicability.
Okay. Mr. Bala, you would like to take the questions here?
Yeah, we can see this. What is the impact of the deletion of the Rule 3(2)? CSR is applicable once, then it will be applicable for always. Section 135(1) says immediately preceding financial year. See, if you look at it, CSR committee is actually required to form where the CSR contribution is actually involved, subject to those criteria of net profit, turnover, paid up capital, etc. and other things. But the company is continuously in the losses. And if we take for the last 3 years, the company has made a loss, the company is actually not required to contribute any amount, in which case the CSR committee can be dissolved. That was the question. Now the question is, as rightly put up, now with the company, the profit earning time, they have actually set up certain project which is actually going on, as Rakesh has puts it. There are certain projects which are running for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But still in the last 3 years, the company has landed the situation where it is no profit. Whether the CSR committee can be closed, it cannot be closed. Because the whole idea is, now the rule says, you will have to actually have the CSR committee to monitor the ongoing process. That is the thing. So really speaking, this is no longer holding that you can actually dispose of the things. That is what it appears to be. Because in the last 3 years, if you not have it, you can close. But ongoing project is there, you cannot do it. So it is not true that it is always applicable. So long as either your contribution is there or your ongoing project is there, then the CSR will continue to be applicable. That is the thing here. Okay. For calculation of the net profit, it is as per Section 198, profit before tax, profit after tax shall be considered. I think this question we should not discuss here because this is not relevant, because Section 190 is very categorically said when we talk about the profit, profit is always before the tax. Because once the profit is earned by the company, then the things that taxability comes and the appropriation comes, etc. and other things, it is very well laid out in the Section 198 itself. It actually says, as Mr. Rakesh puts it very clearly, in 135 it is said after calculating the 198, what is the addition deletion permitted, that is there in 135 section, we will have to follow that. For 3 years it will be applicable for the company. I am not getting this question. Jyoti Agarwal, are you there? What exactly you want to know? 3 years it will be applicable means? Because I can only see here for 3 years it will be applicable for the company. I don't know, it's a question or it's an observation, what is it? I'm not able to make it out.
In my opinion, sir, she wants to ask that whether once it is applicable for 1 year, whether it will be applicable for next 3 years or not.
See, the question is, let us take a hypothetical example. Company made a profit of 1,000 crores in the first year. Okay. And the next 2 years, they made a loss. Say, let us say they made a loss of 200 crores and 300 crores, 500 crores. If you take average for the last 3 years, 1,000 minus 500 minus 200, still the company is in the profit in the last 3 years, 500. So you have to contribute. So every 3 years, you have to keep contributing it. Only when your profit becomes negative, then only the contribution question does not arises. So here definitely the 3 years criteria is simply we cannot take it. We have to see what is the impact of the 3 years, whether the averagely the company is actually making a profit or loss, taking the profit loss, both the situations. That is what I believe here. Jyoti, are you there? If you are there, we can hear from you.
No, she's not there.
She
Yes.
is not there.
I'm here, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
So for
That-
me, as a
Yeah. Yes.
thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
For like I have said, for 3 years it will be applicable for the company. It is for the ongoing project. If I have taken an ongoing project which is going to be there for 3 years,
Yeah.
then and I cannot shut down my CSR committee and I cannot close it down, because I have some project which I have taken for the betterment of the society and for the fulfillment of my CSR projects.
Okay, understood, understood. That is whatever the ongoing project is, the CSR committee will continue. That is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely
my-
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
this
agree.
is my take on this, that whether it should be for 1 year or 3 years. If
Yeah.
it is not an ongoing project, it can be for 1 year. And as said by some of my colleague friend,
Yeah.
some of my friend,
Yeah.
professional friend, that it should be seen for each and every year, the preceding financial year.
Correct,
So this
absolutely
is,
you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for 3 years, it should be first it should be seen that it is an ongoing project or not an ongoing project.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity
Yeah.
to speak up.
Somebody said the guidelines are already given in the act itself. It's regarding the net profit. For every year, applicability, we'll have to see the last year figures, that is falling into CSR or not. Definitely, the rule 3.2 does not imply that one applicable, always applicable. You are absolutely right. That's what I said. Because we'll have to take a call every year, depending upon the profitability, because when the profitability picture is there, some company may do the profit, company may do a loss. In 1 year, you are doing a loss, it does not mean you are not required to contribute. Because what happened the last 3 years average, that is what it matters. So even if 1 year, if you go on a loss, you cannot shut down your CSR committee. You will take a loss of 3 years, the situation is in the profitable situation, still you are required to contribute, still you are required to have it. That is it. I think that's all the questions now for the time being. Yeah, we can move forward.
Just like to add, sir, that till you have money to spend,
Yeah.
if suppose you have any unspent amount,
Yeah.
though you don't have the profit in the last 2 years,
Yeah.
and still you have unspent amount, you have to continue with the CSR committee because you are contributing to the society. You should have the CSR, all the compliances you will have to do.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. That is what this amendment is now bringing out. Because you see, there are certain things or there are a lot of things which actually regulator is looking into. When the CSR was introduced, companies were actually thinking, if I actually give 2% of the money to the implementing agency, I have contributed my money, my job is over. The law says, no, that is not the question. Contribution is one thing, utilization is the second thing.
Absolutely.
So whatever the money has been actually contributed, whether that has been utilized for the purposes for which the money is actually given as per the terms of the CSR terms. That is what it is as per the policy. So in fact, I can share my experience with you. I was lucky enough to work with one of the Vodafone Group companies. In Vodafone Group companies, one of the company which has been exceedingly doing very good in the CSR activities, you all might be knowing it, because the Vodafone Group has set up its own foundation. There is a Vodafone Foundation itself is there. So most of the group companies which are there, they are actually putting in the Vodafone Foundation. Vodafone Foundation is actually doing it, and not only that, wherever it is required, they are also employing the implementing agency. What they used to do in their company, every board meeting, I'm talking about it, every board meeting, it was actually the duty of the company secretary to catch out of the implementing agency to come for a presentation, and there is a separate presentation which is actually made to the CSR committee. What is the ongoing project? What is the money received? What is the money spent? What is the balance? What is the feature? What is the things is going to be given? The complete details are actually given. It is updated to the CSR committee. And not only that, at the end of the year, he has to actually give the project report for the company. What is the amount? What is spent? What is the carry forward? What is the plan of action, etc. That is where the CSR report is actually bringing out the status of the CSR report. That is what in this amendment also enlarged in respect of the ongoing projects. So in case of the ongoing projects, if it is there, as we actually talked about it, The committee cannot be closed down. The committee will continue to have till that ongoing project gets completed. Yeah.
I would like to add one point here. In case of utilization, we have to just take care that amounts should be paid for the work done. If any amount has not been paid and it has been booked only, normally it should not be taken as utilization.
Yeah, that is right. That is right. See, probably you see the whole idea is there are two aspects. One aspect, the 2% money is required to be contributed. That is the first condition. When the money is contributed, the money is actually to be utilized for the purpose for which it is contributed. That is the second condition. There is no doubt about it. There is no question of any book entry and booking and other thing and all. Nothing works in this.
Because ultimately they have to give that in the impact net assessment report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunil Sharma says, I have one question. Yeah, yes, Sunil. What is your question? Either you can put it down or you can speak out.
Sir, I just want to speak out the question like that. I am from Wadia Group and we have maternity hospital and children healthcare hospital itself. So we used to give the donation under CSR contribution to the Wadia hospital and Wadia Children Healthcare Hospital. So shall it be come under the related party transaction under section 188 and what kind of precaution we need to take?
Yeah, Mr. Rakesh, you would like to take up these questions? So probably, I think somewhere it has been restricted, in the sections. I just can't, spend my CSR money on my group companies or, my own companies and employees' benefits and all.
Yeah, it will not considered under the CSR contribution if we are doing the related party or the employees. There is some exemptions given that we will not consider, so it will not.
Yeah, it was there actually speaking. Even in the vaccination drive, which has actually taken up by the larger group, they wanted to organize the vaccination to be given to their own employees, which was running in multiple thousands. And they actually raised the question whether it can be a CSR. And it has been very categorically said, if you are actually organizing for the benefit of your employees, then in which case that cannot be a CSR activity, that will be actually employee related benefit. And on the contrary, if you are actually organizing the vaccination program for the entire people, which includes your employees also, then it will come under the CSR activity. This clarification has already been given actually. So if you are actually going to do only for your group companies, group people, employees, etc., that will not form part of the CSR activity. That will actually take the color of the, providing the benefit to your own group companies, employees, etc., and other things.
So I don't know whether Sunil, your query has been answered. I think he was asking about some related party transactions, right, Sunil?
Yes, sir. So here I had some different question like that. This Wadia Maternity Hospital and Children Care Health Hospital, both are doing public services only, but ultimately it is running by our company. And it is running by Wadia Group only. So Wadia Group listed entities usually used to give the donation under CSR contribution earlier before this rule came in effective. So now the situation is different. That's why I asked the question. So scenarios like that, these hospitals are usually doing the public service only, including employee of the company as well as the general public.
No. If it is doing a service to the public as a whole, to the community, then it will be a CSR. If it is taking care of only its own employees and group companies, etc., that it will not be.
And
So, sir,
sorry.
In that circumstances, what kind of precautionary measures we can take under related party transaction, section 188?
See, one thing I like to add that, like suppose the Wadia, that hospital you are talking about, if it is run by the company, it is just putting money from one pocket to another pocket. I give you the example of it. In our company, we were doing the CSR in one of the activity that we are the insurance company first, like to clarify. and we are also distributing or participating in the PMJJBY scheme of the government. In the PMJJBY scheme, just like to add that in the 313 at that point of time, but now 420 or something rupees is the premium. Where we do the CSR activity, we had to cover all the villagers who are eligible under the PMJJBY to create awareness towards the PMJJBY in initial days. And we had to pay the premium amount because we are also doing the CSR in the life insurance business. We are also giving the PMJJBY business to the public. This arrangement was not with us. We had done this arrangement with the LIC because if 313 rupees for one beneficiary we are contributing and that money is coming to our company, it is a related party. What benefit is from one pocket to another pocket, the money is transferring. That's why we had done the arrangement through the LIC. So similarly, in this case, if Wadia hospital is run by the company or managed by the company, then definitely it will be a related party and it will be not considered as a CSR contribution, though it is you are serving to the public at large as well as the employees.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, one more question comes. Again, I think it appears to be a net profit. If net profit crosses 5 crores in the year 21-25 for the first time, going further, there may not be a profit at all. In such cases, shall we need to frame CSR committee 2% for financial year? Net profit crosses in the financial year 2021 for the first time. Okay. There may not be a profit at all. There may not be a profit at all means? Karan, can you speak out? I'm not very clear from your question.
Hello, sir. Yeah, thanks for giving opportunity. Am I audible properly?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the net profit for the financial year 21-22 is the crossing 5 crores.
Okay.
Going further, say in the 22-23, there may not be a profit crossing 5 crores. So 2% for this year, that is 21-22, will be roughly say CSR spends in the range of 10 lakhs only.
What about 2021 and 1920?
There was a loss, total loss.
Suppose you take, because it is talking preceding 3 years. That means you don't have to go to future, you have to go to the past.
Exactly.
If you take the last 3 years, okay, including this 5 crores, whether you are in the profitable position or loss-making position.
No, that was a say minor loss. So average, if I consider for the last preceding 3 years, then it will be a profit only.
If it is a profit, then on that profit you have to contribute 2%.
2%, correct. So
because
correct.
See,
so accordingly, we need to.
What it says is the last 3 years you have to consider. As you
Correct.
rightly say, first 2 years there is a loss. In the current year there is a profit. If you add all 3 put together, whether you have the profit or not, whatever the amount, then if you are in the profit, 2% you have to contribute and you have to continue. Again, you have to take a call in the next year.
Correct. So
one more thing, just like to add that now new amendment says that if contribution is less than the 50 lakhs, then also you don't require to constitute a CSR committee. So you have to take all the parameters, as the sir is saying, that your profit, if the average profit is negative, there is no question of contribution, etc., etc. But even though if your contribution is less than the 50 lakhs, then there is the exemption in the Companies Act. So you can take the exemption of the constitution of the committee.
Yeah. Okay. The spending obligation will continue.
Yeah. If the net profit exceeds 5 crores for the half year ended, then we have to start its expenditure or we have to wait till the completion of the financial year. Now, half year you don't have to consider because it is always after the audit is over, you have to take a call for the overall year, because what you made a profit in this year, you take in the last 3 years and you contribute in the subsequent year. That is the thing. So in which case it is a half yearly, you don't have to take a call. At the end of the year only, you have to take a call. That is there. There is a measures. There is a negative list is given the MCA, which companies cannot spend GST. But yeah, that is actually for the information. Okay. Somebody is saying, taking reference of the Vodafone Idea CSR, all the group companies contributing to common foundation set up by the parent company need to take on the board meeting. contributing common meeting where the parent company need to take in their board meeting, CSR committee meeting, presentation project given by the implementation agency. Yeah, what happens is here, normally the foundation itself, they are doing the CSR activities, or wherever they are unable to reach in certain remote areas, etc., the implementing agencies are actually appointed. The company, either company can deal directly the implementing agencies, or the group foundation can also deal with the implementing agencies. What they used to do is wherever the Vodafone group themselves is doing, their representative will come, they will actually present the presentation. Wherever the implementing agencies come, they will actually give the presentation answer. Normally in this Vodafone group, the CS is actually coordinating all these matters and collecting the information, etc. The CS involvement is actually really associated with the CSR activities here. Every board meeting or once in a financial year. But Vodafone has been doing it every quarterly. They wanted to take it, they wanted to monitor it on the ongoing basis. They didn't want to wait. They are doing it. It is up to your decision. You can take it. It is actually better to monitor. If not, end of the financial year, what is the point in calling the end of the financial year, finding out what has happened rather than taking a call in between monitoring it? I would say it is better to have quarterly. If quarterly is too much, you can have it every half-yearly. It is up to the company to decide how to monitor. Because in some of the companies, I believe there are separate volunteers have been appointed. They regularly go and they regularly visit, they give the feedback and other thing and all. In such cases, you can have the different mechanism to monitor. The whole idea is it is a monitoring activity which is required rather than giving a presentation or something like that.
And sir, I would just like to add that half yearly is the ideal frequency for the CSR committee and presentation on the CSR side, because the activities and everything takes time. Because we are also doing the half yearly presentation.
Yeah, that is what I said, because it is up to company to the company. Because some other Vodafone decided that they have the committee, they wanted to have it for every quarterly. So quarterly they call it, they ask for the things, etc. and all this thing. Of course, in fact, we get the input from the directors also. How do we go about it? Because what happened in Vodafone Group, I believe they were actually targeting some of the, the fallout of the students who could not continue the studies for some reason, etc. and all this thing. They were actually identifying in one of the locations the fallout of the college fallout students. They were actually trying to help those people to continue the education, etc. and other thing and all. In which there are a lot of inputs have also come from the committee members who are there in the field. They had expert people. So that the inputs are actually given in the every quarterly, how can we do it, etc. and other thing and all, because it's the education related. If you delay the education too much, the time is lost, which is not regained. That is the purpose they were doing it. So company can actually take a call on that. They can do it. Half-yearly is really a good time actually. Quarterly, if you want, it is up to you. What is the time period of spending the unspent amount, which is actually reversed because of the non-accomplishment of certain project identified under the CSR by the implementing agency? The project pertains to the financial year prior to introduction of the ongoing projects. See, the problem is when you are actually undertaking a project, normally it is done, it will run for how many years? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it can actually run. You'll have to decide in the pre-decision. Some reason or other, the project is not going to run or something, you can always take a call, it can be extended, but the only thing is you should have a time frame. It cannot be everlasting, a running project or something like that. Yeah, your view, Rakesh, on this.
Absolutely, you are correct that there is a two ways. In the beginning itself, we should identify the projects are the ongoing or not. If the project is ongoing, what is the estimated time of any of the project? If there is a further delay, then in one of the meeting, we should update the board and take the extension of the project. Like 3 years, if the project is not completed, we should take that exemption. Again, further we can extend it. So that's the process we should follow to ensure the duration of the ongoing project.
Okay. The company can identify the CSR project and executing the same through the implementing agency, and the company has continued its final contribution towards the said project before 31st of March to be the implementing agency. In the implementing agency, utilize such contribution after 31st of March and completed after 31st March, say 15th of April. Whether this project would be considered as a ongoing project or other than the going projects. See, normally what happens is in the financial year on 31st of March, when you are actually ending up the money for the last 3 years, your contribution actually not made in the same financial year where it is happened. The contribution is actually made only in the subsequent year. So when you are making the subsequent year, it is between the 31st of March. It is not 31st of March you contribute, the project gets completed on 31st of March. Even if you make a contribution 31st of March, the project will be completed only in the next financial year. So it will be the next year only it will be completing. No?
Sir, just to add that any of the project, definition of ongoing will not come based on the transfer of not contributing the fund by 31st, or it is extended by March or April or May. It is required to define the project that this project is an ongoing project at the beginning of the approval of the budget, at the time of approval of the budget or plan of the CSR activities. If you have not contributed by 31st March, it has to be dealt as per the Companies Act, other than the ongoing project, and we have to spend within the timeline of the 6 months. This is the requirement. It doesn't mean that you have not contributed, so it is an ongoing project. This is not. You have to define it.
Yeah.
And if suppose in the last meeting also you are finding something, you can take the permission of the board, and then can you also take with the permission as an ongoing project. That is the right way to identify.
The company is spending the CSR amount through the trust, and it has transferred the whole amount to the trust. The trust decides to spend the amount on the ongoing projects, 2 years. How about this reporting by the company in its report? Disclose it on the ongoing or show that the whole amount has been spent. How can you spend the whole amount as you spend? Because see, I said in the beginning only, contributing the money is something, and spending the money, utilization is actually something. There are two different aspects. Contribution does not mean you have spent the money. Contribution only means that you have contributed towards the cost. That is all. So it is only the utilization. As you rightly say, the project is going to be the 2 years, then it is a 2-year duration of the project. That is what you have to look into. Take into consideration the accounts are audited and approved, adopted by July 22. What will be the time limit by which CSR contribution need to be made? See, contribution for the last year is actually made in the subsequent years. It is better to make it as early as possible without waiting either 6 months or 8 months or 9 months. Because he said actually, there is a specific time limit is there by which the contribution is actually required to be made. Because it is not made on 31st of December, because audited accounts is required. Audited accounts is not ready on 31st of March itself. Audited accounts will take time. At least it will take 2 or 3 weeks, or at the most 1 month it will take. Once the auditing is done, the amount is actually established, then the contribution factors actually come into the picture.
So in my opinion, we should plan accordingly on the basis of that estimated profit, so that within 31st of the March of that year, we can spend that amount, whatever liability we have.
Can a company liable to spend CSR fund contributed to the said fund to other group company which is carrying out a larger CSR project?
So what I understand, suppose Mahindra and Mahindra is carrying out some very big project, and they also have a group company like Mahindra and Mahindra Finance, Mahindra and Mahindra Holidays. So I don't know, Sunil, you are trying to refer to the similar kind of the thing. I mean, the situation where the parent company is working on a large project on the CSR. The objective falls under the schedule 7 and all.
I agree, sir. In the Companies Act also, it says that in collaboration with the other company also we can do the CSR activities. So if taking that with the holding company, subsidiary company, we can do the sharing of the CSR contribution.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is permitted in the Companies Act. It actually says you can do in collaboration with other group companies. That is perfect.
Sunil, does it answer to your questions, Sunil Agarwal? Okay, I think it's not there. Yeah, Dolly.
Yeah. So,
oh, we have some questions. Mr. Khan wanted to ask something. He has raised the hand. Yeah, Mr. Khan.
I can see your hand is raised. Hello?
Okay, Dolly, you can start. Let him say in between.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So another amendment came in Rule 4 of CSR implementation. For sub-rule 1, they have substituted the whole subsection, whole sub-rule. And in the amendment, the exempted under subclause 4, 5, 6, or 6A of clause C 23C of section 10, this got added in the recent amendment. So this is the basically section 10 of the Income Tax Act, where they have mentioned the various subclauses with the activities they are engaged in. Apart from that, this sub rule remains the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, MCA has widened the scope of and introduced the new class of entity which can be act as an implementing agency.
So that means by amendment, they have added one more implementing agency to facilitate the things and given the wider scope for the people to get the thing done. That's what it means here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so this is the section 23C of IT Act 1961. So these are the categories where any fund or institution established for charitable purposes, which may be approved by the principal commissioner or commissioner having regard to the objects of the fund or institution and its importance throughout the India or throughout any state or states. So basically this all are the four subclauses which is covered in section 1023C. So the section 8 companies or any institution engaged in this activities, they are allowed to be a implementing agency.
Yeah, again, the important thing is that approval of the charity commissioner is required. That is very important here because that's charitable purposes. They have to get registered. They have to get the approval from the charity commissioner. Yeah.
Yes. Also, along with this, they have to look in the Schedule 7 activity list. So they have to, follow the Schedule 7 activity list. So, for example, here this is mentioned for the religious purposes, but religious purposes is not the part of Schedule 7. Okay, so all the corporates, they have to keep in mind that they have to follow the Schedule 7 activities apart from whatever mentioned it's here.
You're right, Dolly, because the thing is,
yeah,
this is the implementing agency. What you can do through with the whom. If they have formed a charitable institution by obtaining the necessary approval from the charity commissioner, you can do that. But the activity which can be done is actually spelled out on the CSR rules and schedule. That is the thing.
Yeah, schedules. Yeah.
I have one point here. Sometimes companies spend CSR amount on skill development, and they have own skill development center, and they make ready the candidates on a skilled candidate to skilled candidate. In that case, we should avoid that candidate should be appointed in in same company. Sometimes it will interest, that means Mehta state that company has spending the amount for making ready for own employee. So that CSR candidate, trained candidate should not be taken in payroll of the same company, in my opinion.
There's another question has come. As our project is the ongoing project for the 4 years, in one of our company, but from this year, CSR is not applicable to as per the limit in section 135, or can the company shut down their project before completing 4 years? This question we already answered actually, because the company cannot shut down the CSR committee because it is whether profit or loss, that is one. Second thing is the ongoing project. If the ongoing project is there, you cannot do that. Ongoing project is required. The amendment very categorically says the CSR committee is required to have to oversee the monitoring of the ongoing projects.
Sir, CSR actually we should take not the simply obligation which is defined under the Companies Act. It is more than that. We are doing for the society. Act is silent on this part, but if you have some responsibility to the society, some commitment to the society, definitely you should complete it. Technically, you should complete. You can't say that I will stop now because there is a possibility you don't have fund. Okay, you can delay it further. 4 year to 5 year, you can do that. Next year, you can complete it. And accordingly, you can take the approval from the board and you can do it. But this is your responsibility, social responsibility to do. And we should think over and above this strategic part.
Yes.
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah. So under Rule 8, CSR reporting, for the impact assessment, the company earlier it was for expenditure towards the CSR regarding the impact assessment, which shall not exceed 2% of the total CSR expenditure for that financial year, or rupees 50 lakh, whichever is higher. Now the amendment amendment is about the 2%. They have to which shall not exceed 2% of the total CSR expenditure. Earlier to the amendment, it was the 5%. And apart from that, there was one more amendment in the Annexure 2, which I have spoken earlier. So basically under the format, the composition of CSR committee requires the companies to provide the executive summary along with the web links of the impact assessment of CSR project. It is to be noted that while this rationalization has been done in the information to be provided in the annual report of CSR, the information to be provided in form CSR2, which has almost all details as was in erstwhile CSR annual report, remains unaltered. So basically,
there is one question is there. My company has donated fund for the higher education of students. Whether it would actually be counted as a CSR expenditure.
In my opinion, this is eligible for CSR if it has been paid for eligible implementing agency.
Yeah, that is what it matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it is through the implementing agency, yes, it is. Otherwise, it will be a donation. Yeah, go ahead, Dal.
So this is the format of for the annual report, Annexure 2, where company has to give the brief outline of the CSR policy. Then they have to the composition of CSR committee, provide the web links, the composition of CSR committee, CSR policy, and CSR project approved by the board are disclosed on the website of the company. So basically here they have to disclose the CSR project and the CSR policy, everything on their website. Also, they have to provide the web link. Then they have to provide the executive summary along with the web links of impact assessment of CSR project carried out in pursuance of sub-rule 3 of Rule 8, if applicable to them. Then they have to provide the average net profit of the company, 2% of average net profit of the company, the surplus arising out of CSR project or programs or activities of the previous financial years, amount required to be set off for the financial year, if any, then total obligation for the financial year. So they have to provide all these details in point number 5. Then in point number 6, they have to give the details for the amount spent on CSR project. It can be both projects, ongoing and the other than ongoing. Then they have to give the amount spent in administrative overheads, amount spent on impact assessment, if applicable to them, total amount spent for the financial year. And then they have to provide the information, CSR amount spent or unspent for the financial year. Moving forward,
just like to add, Dolly, that really this form is really very good now. They have made it proper structured way, the form.
Yes.
That how it should be expenses and segregation, etc. It should be only, I don't know, that the ministry should take, that it should be properly linked with a similar kind of the format. It should be taken in the AOC 4 once we are filing. There's lots of jargon in the AOC 4 once we are putting the data in the system. I think this kind of the thing, from this form annexure, certain column should be taken there, and it should be made more structured.
Yeah, so moving forward, here they have to provide the excess amount for set off details if they have any excess amount for the set off. And again, they have to provide the 2% of average net profit details and total amount they have spent in the financial year. Then excess amount, surplus arising out of CSR project, and amount available for set of a succeeding financial year. And apart from that, they also have to give the detailed unspent CSR amount for the preceding 3 financial years. Thereafter, the company has to provide any capital asset which has been created or acquired through CSR amount spent in financial year. Also, if yes, then they have to provide the details in the table given below.
There are 2 more questions which have actually come.
Yeah.
Entity under section 1023C of the income tax engage the religious activities is covered for CSR. Is it required to get CSR 1 as well from the MCA?
Sir, I would like to answer this. As
Yeah.
far I know, in the Schedule 7, the religious activity it's not mentioned, but still I will have to check thoroughly.
Okay. If the company is outstanding liability in 2018 and 19, but after that company is continuously making the losses till date, and how company is going to shut down the next year, will this liability stand after striking of the company? I'm not very clear in this question. When you are taking company as outstanding liability.
If I understand, sir, outstanding liability may only be about our commitment to the society. So
Okay.
if the company is getting shutting down and there is no profit, no fund, definitely they can withdraw the project. And if the liability you are talking, the contribution is due to a spend, but you have not spent, then you have to spend it. You have to do the provision. There is no question of that. So both the aspects which I could explain.
Okay. On account of the profit criteria, in the immediately preceding year 2021, CSR applicable for the year 21-22. However, there is no spend since the average of the last 3 years is negative. In that case, we need to include the nil annual report for the CSR in the director's report.
Sorry, I could not get this.
He says, on account of the profit criteria in the immediate preceding year, that means 2021, they have a profit. And he says CSR is applicable for the year 21-22. However, there is no spend since average 3 years negative. In that case, we need to include the annual report for CSR in the director report. If I understand the question correctly, I think they are meeting the eligibility criteria for the first time in the year 2021 on account of the profitability. But when it comes to the contribution, I think they are not meeting the contribution because average profit is actually working out to the negative. That is what I understand by reading this question. If I read it again, on account of the profit criteria in the immediate preceding year 2021, CSR is applicable. However, there is no spend since average profit is negative in the last 3 years. So can we have to include nil annual report in the CSR in the director's report?
I don't think so. It is required. Unless it is mandated. It is voluntarily, you can do it, but otherwise it is not.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the same opinion.
In consultation with my earlier question, religious activities are not covered under the Schedule 6. Are they covered? Are they covered now through the amendment? He said, religious activities are not covered under Schedule 7. Are they covered now through the amendment? I don't think religious activities are covered.
It's not covered in Schedule 7.
Not covered at all. Not at all covered.
They have not categorically said, so we should consider that it should not be covered.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is not covered at all. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I think. You can go ahead.
Yeah. So at last, it should be signed by CEO or the MD of the company, chairman of the CSR committee, and the person who specified, like in case of the foreign company, it should be signed by the concerned person as per section 380. Also, the amendment has given the some addition or substitution in series number 1 and entries related to thereto in the e-form CSR 1. They have mentioned the nature of entity. As we can see in the earlier amendment, same amendment they have brought up in the e-form CSR 1 of the exempted under subclause 4, 5, 6 or 6A of clause 23C of section 10. They have added this exempted clause in this for the implementing agency. Apart from that, in the annexure 1, form CSR 1, they have mentioned the registered public trust exempted under the subclauses of section 10. Then they have mentioned registered public trust registered under section 12A and approved under section 80G of the Income Tax Act 1961. Also, they've included registered society, which are exempted again under clause 23C of section 10 and approved under section 80G of IT Act. Registered society, which got registered in section 12A and approved again in 80G of IT Act. Company established under section 8 or registered trust or registered society established by CG or state government. Entity established under an act of parliament or state legislature. Yeah, so this was all about the amendment which was there in the CSR rules. And now we will move towards the role and responsibility of CSR committee. So as per subsection 3 of section 135 of Companies Act 2013, CSR committees shall formulate and recommend to the board of CSR policy, which shall indicate the activities to be undertaken by the company in the areas or subject specified in Schedule 7. Also, they have to recommend the amount of expenditure incurred on activities recommended by the committee. Monitor the CSR policy of the company from time to time. Now, CS, being a CS is a vital link between the company, BODs, shareholders, and all the stakeholders, whether it can be a government, regulatory authorities, a customer. CS has to play a very crucial role in executing to, monitoring implementation of CSR compliances, whether it can be a formation of CSR committee and review, preparing CSR policy, ensuring proper utilization of CSR funds, transfer of unspent amount, preparing CSR report. So this is where the CS role is very important when CSR got introduced in 2013 itself. And with a passing time, the CSR amendment in the CSR acts and the rules, the role and responsibility of CS is increased.
Also, Dolly, just to add that this is not for the whole-time company secretary, but the practicing company secretary has also an important role, like drafting of the policy for the for the foundations or the charitable institutions or the trust. In addition to our practicing members can take the opportunity of impact assessment, how it can be done, need assessment, how it can be done, and the certificate can be given, and social audit, which is very popular these days. So these are the open areas where our practicing fraternity can enter into and take this opportunity.
There is a question has come actually. Is there any specific number of CSR committee meetings are required to be covered under the Companies Act?
At least twice should be CSR committee meeting there should be, in my opinion, and 1/3 with the quorum.
Act is silent on it.
See, one thing is there. CSR committee has to recommend the amount of the contribution to be made. So which means there need to be a committee to meet to recommend. That is number one. Number two, CSR committee has to actually recommend the report which is to be published by the board of directors at the end of the year. Again, there is a meeting is actually required. These are definitely required because without calling the meeting, you cannot do that. Besides that, as we discussed, CSR committee can meet as frequently as possible if they are definitely interested in monitoring the CSR activities, etc., and other things. That is what one of the faculty suggested. Every offerly taking a monitoring committee is better. I said actually the Vodafone group, they used to meet every quarterly. The company has to make, according to going by the law, at least 2 times in a year it is required. Because one time you have to recommend what is the contributions to be made, other time you have to recommend what is the report is to be made. That is the thing. Otherwise, as the faculty says, lies equicidal. Can we include PCS certifying the CSR2 within the CSR committee? Can we include PCS certifying our CSR2 within the CSR committee? What you are actually asking, this one, there's somebody called the KK. You want to make the person who's certifying as a CSR committee member?
Thank you, sir, for taking up my question.
Yeah.
So my clarification that I'm seeking is, can we include the practicing company secretary who is testing our annual forms, where CSR2 is also part of that? Can we include him as a consultant to our CSR committee?
Hey, are you including a consultant or are you including him as a CSR committee member?
Member we cannot include because directors are required to be part of that.
Yeah.
But as a consultant, can we include him?
Yeah, consultant you can, because you see, he is a specialized person. You can take any service from him because his certification is he is doing it as a professional. And consultancy he has given based on the knowledge. That can be done. There's no question arises on that.
He can be invited as a special invitee to the CSR committee meeting.
Yeah, yeah. That can be done. There's no issue.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
In my company, just to like to inform you that in my company, those who are giving any kind of support to our foundation, CSR foundation, we invite them to our CSR foundation meeting for giving update, and in that few of the practicing are also involved. So there is an opportunity, and it depends how you take this opportunity in future.
Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
I think Ashok has provided the information. CSR committee should meet at least twice in a year. If there is no spend for the year, are we still required to hold the CSR meeting as there is no expenditure and committee has no role to play? Please advise.
We should. We should give the explanation of why we are not.
Yeah, we should. Okay. Authorities, could you please enlighten in addition to CSR2 with the AOC4? Why AOC4? Rohit? AOC4 is the annual statement filing, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Then why it is actually we want to discuss this annual statement filing here? I don't understand this. I don't think this is relevant in this question.
Sir,
yeah.
In fact, CSR2 is filed along with the AOC4. It is for this year. It is being filed as part of CSR2 is filed as part of AOC4.
Okay. Okay.
That's why that question is.
Yeah, correct. It is. But there is a format is very, very cumbersome. It should be linked with accordingly that what annexure given in the annual report. Here, clarity is very better clarity in this annual report than the CSR. What's the format number? We see two now. Form number 2. That's there should be the proper link.
Okay. Somebody is asking a question. If a company is actually appointing apprentices over and above the minimum required as per the Apprentices Act, then the stipend paid to the additional apprentices, will it be considered as eligible for CSR spend? There is one office accommodation from, there is one office memorandum from the Ministry Skill Development on 11th March 20 in this regard. I don't think it will be a CSR because the thing is apprentices you are employing, it means they are actually, you are part of your employment, you are doing for the benefit of the employment. How can that be a CSR expenditure? I don't think so. Any view from the faculty, the panelists on this?
I agree, sir. I agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you for this view. I don't understand that there was some office memorandum on 11th March 2020. Subject was specific clarification on utilization of CSR funds of industries on apprenticeship training under Apprenticeship Act. And that office memorandum gave reference to MCA circular dated number 12/2 dated 2060 copies enclosed. So if we search even on the internet, this office memorandum come immediately on the first, giving clarification with support of some MCA circular.
No, skill development, if you are doing public at large, see, for a particular village, if the people are pursuing a study, You want to conduct the skill development program for them, that is something different. But
Exactly.
within your organization, if you are doing it, so that
Yeah.
cannot be. That is the whole idea. Okay. CSR committee and CSR foundation committee both are different. CSR,
Yeah, of course. Of course.
yeah, of course, it is different.
Yeah, both are different.
Okay. Form CSR is still not available on MCA. We cannot comment on that. From CSR is available as web form. You can find the same the last year. Yeah, these are all the suggestions. I cannot say anything on that. Can CSR amount spent for their employees for improving their skill through the skill development center, or it can be company take the skill development persons on ongoing employees of the company. See, as I said in the beginning, as I cited the vaccination campaign which is taken over by the company, if the skill development program is set up for the public at large, if the employees of the company is also taking part of it, it doesn't matter. But you cannot do only skill development for your employees and then you say you qualify for the CSR. That is not allowed. That is the purpose. Because it should be available public at large. It cannot be restricted only to your particular employees.
Sometimes the company who is conducting the CSR, this skill development center, so in with the public, some of the employee apprentices can be trained there, but
Yeah.
only for their employee should not be considered as CSR.
Correct. CSR spend in kind is allowed or not? I think I'm not very clear on this question.
CSR spend is allowed up to 5%, which is the Act says.
Yeah.
So you can stick with that.
No. CSR spend in kind is allowed or not?
He wants to tell that if we are giving in kind, like during the COVID,
Yeah.
some of the company are providing fooding or all the things.
Yeah.
So whether that should be considered or not, that I think he want to say that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it is. It is. Then it
Yes,
is.
it is covered. It
Yeah.
is covered. See, the whole idea is what? Whole idea is utilization of the money which is actually contributed.
Yeah.
If that is what you mean, yes, it can be. Yeah. As per the previous notification, CSR form is to be filed along with the annexure AOC 4. What was we do if the annexure form is not available? Atul, you can only answer this question better.
Sorry. So what was the question, sir?
Question is actually, we are saying as per the previous notification, CSR form was to be filed annexure to AOC 4.
Right.
What should we do if the annexure form is not available?
It's a very touchy issue, sir. Now, a lot of challenges with the MCA. They keep on changing the vendors. The whole community of the company secretaries and professionals, we've been affected. So yeah, that's not anyway. So that's very delicate. We should not be talking at this point of time. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dolly, continue.
Okay. Sir, any more question?
There's one question has come now. Let me
Okay.
see this.
Okay.
If CSR is in the form of the land donation for setting up the old age home, is that allowed under CSR being in kind? Yeah, it is permitted. It is permitted.
Okay.
That's all. That's all. I have no question now.
Okay. Okay, sir. So moving onwards, we will go through the role and responsibilities of CFO. So in Amendment 2021, it got introduced that
I think Rekha has raised the hand.
Sorry.
Yes, I think Rekha has raised the hand. She wants to ask some question, I think. Yes, Rekha, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I raised the question where if we are contributing through kind, like I have said, if I'm contributing a particular land belonging to the company, then that would be considered a CSR donation or contribution or not. Now, as we know that the CSR to be contributed out of the profit earned by the company, but the land is the asset which is already owned by the company. So how it would be considered as my contribution towards CSR?
in my opinion, when we are contributing any item which is that I think that I understand manufactured by the company, so we should take the cost part, not the profit part. So that amount should be considered at the costing of the company, and that can be considered at CSR.
So how will appropriate this land, which is the part of assets, because we are supposed to spend the money out of our profits from the cash only, not from the assets. So it is not a part of profit. So that's a very command. I'm not able to understand because
You are telling about the land.
yes.
So land, the cost of the land will be taken as the CSR contribution, and that will be taken away from the asset of the company, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
You see, Rekha, what you're talking is actually your classification of your assets, which is sitting on the balance sheet. What really matters is out of the total profit which is earned, 2% you are required to contribute.
True.
Okay, cash is also a form of the asset.
Yes.
So when you are contributing the cash, is it not you are contributing the asset only?
No, but my question is, if I am the company, I'm not earning any profit, I don't have the assets, then I'm not falling with the category of spending 2%, being not falling in the, if my obligation is not there.
Okay, so you're not actually on the CSR obligation. You are doing it voluntarily.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm under obligation. My question is, if I'm donating particular piece of land, so though I am falling under CSR obligation, my question is, if I'm spending, suppose I have to spend 1,000 lakhs for CSR. Now I am not putting it separate from my profits. Rather, I am spending this money or in the form of land from my assets, which are already there. So whether it would amount to contribution under CSR or not, because I'm supposed to spend out of my profits, which are being earned during previous 3 years.
See, just like to inform that the land is the asset of your in your book, right? Once you have donated, that much balance sheet as profit and loss has affected, or balance sheet will change. So definitely you have to take the valuation of the land, and that valuation will be your contribution. It is not that the profit you have to extract and then you have to pay. You pay in a kind or a cash, whatever it will be considered as a contribution.
See, Rekha, you're only talking about the accounting entries. You are not talking the contribution of the thing, because as you rightly say, I actually said, if you go through the balance sheet, if you see the asset side, cash is also an asset only. Cash is not separately something. Cash is actually sitting under the current assets. You are contributing your cash from the current assets, but instead of that, land you are contributing from your fixed asset. That's all. Then nothing else is there. How your cash is actually going away from the current assets, as our Rakesh said, your land will go from the fixed asset. That's it. It is only the accounting entry. It is not that the cash has to be given, cannot be given. It is not the question. Still not clear.
Not still, I'm not convinced actually.
No. Can you see your balance sheet?
Yeah.
Your cash is sitting where? Under the current assets. Is that correct?
Yes, that's okay.
For the time being, you take out your cash. For the time being, you see what is your balance sheet. You have fixed asset, you have current asset. Correct?
Yeah.
Your current asset consists of the cash. Your current asset consists of money collectible, money receivable. These are all your current assets. All right. When you are calculate the contribution amount, when you are paying the cash, let us forget for the time being cash. What you are taking out for balance sheet, your current asset portion you are taking out from the balance sheet. Is that correct?
Correct. But this current asset is against my immovable property, my land.
Doesn't matter because CSR says you can contribute in kind also. When you are saying that it can be contributed by kind also, you are taking from the fixed asset. Is the question of only movable property, immovable property. Cash is the movable property, land is immovable property.
It is not mentioned categorically anywhere under CSR rules that we can contribute in kind. That's why I pose this question.
No, it is because you asked our this thing. faculties, Rakesh, because the COVID time, people have actually contributed.
COVID time, the COVID time was an exception given at a time. I'm talking about the time period prior to this. Because we didn't have
see,
this
there is
stage.
no exemption. See, there is no exemption. Suppose I give you the example. I do the CSR in the village. I distribute a sewing machine to the women. I'm not giving cash. It is a kind. Similarly, land I have transferred to that women for the some purpose or some institution for the CSR purpose. That is also the same thing. It is equivalent to cash. You can convert it into the cash. So this is the purpose. This is not, you can say, whatever the money, 5 lakhs rupees, suppose you have to contribute, you take the 5 lakhs from your treasury or from the bank, and then you start spending.
That's
It
true.
is equivalent of 5 lakhs you have to spend. It is not the cash you have to distribute. And this is one hypothetical example. If I give you, suppose you are not liable to do any contribution, CSR contribution in this year, but you have transferred the land, whatever the land you have transferred to any of the institution as a charitable purpose or whatsoever the CSR you can consider it for the school construction, etc. In the next financial year, if you are liable to do the CSR contribution, you can take the set off of this whatever you have contributed as a land. So, so both the aspects are there. Just think about it. It's all about the thinking and how you take it.
I have one input here. When company donate any land for CSR purpose, that land should not be used for industry purpose or own purpose. That should be used for CSR purpose only. Only then it should be considered. Otherwise, if you are using for own purpose, it will not be.
Yeah, that is right. Absolutely.
As per the policy, as per the CSR policy which you have.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Taking by contribution by the company a trust which is promoting the national language and indulging into providing education on national language, will it be considered as a CSR contribution? What is that? Contribution.
Sorry, the question is, I could not understand.
Making any contribution by a company to a trust which is promoting the national language and indulge into providing education on national language will be considered as CSR contribution.
I think it should be.
Yeah. In my opinion, also it should be considered.
Yeah. So long as it is the education, yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's all the questions time being.
Yeah. So we are talking about role and responsibility of the CFO. So now CSR is becoming the way of life for many corporates across the globe. So today CFO are getting involved in management, measurement and reporting on CSR activities. It is the CFO's duty to make sure there is a proper utilization of CSR funds for a CSR project, which is mentioned in CSR policy, transfer to unspent amount, transfer of unspent amount to the unspent CSR account within the given time frame. That is for ongoing project, they have to transfer within 6 months. And for the project other than ongoing, they have to transfer within the 30 days. Okay, and also CFO is supposed to certify the CSR spent.
When we talk about the responsibilities and accountability of the CS and the CFO here, I think we all should remember CS is the compliance officer. He has to comply with all the applicable provisions under the Companies Act. Under the CSR, he has to comply. Comply means what? Contribution, the required contribution is actually made apart from CSR committee, etc., policy and other things and all these things, periodical meeting. Contribution made in time. Utilization is made in time. If any unutilized amount is there, it is actually transferred to the specified fund in time. That is it. Second thing is CFO is involved. She is actually discussing the CFO's role here. CFO is also another important person who is involved in the CSR activities because he is the one who is going to issue the required certificate to the board on this. So the role is very, very important for both of them. If they fail to do the role, any default, any non-compliance, etc., the penalty will be levied by the regulators, which they have to pay from their personal pocket, their out of own sources. There is no way company is actually going to pay the penalty on their behalf. Let us be very, very clear on that. That is the way the regulation is going. I think she is going to take up some case law on this also. So let us remember that. So we are sitting not only on our role and responsibility, we are also sitting the higher risk of not complying, not committing any default. We cannot commit any default on this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So now let's see the roles and responsibilities the board of director has to play for the CSR. So board is the responsible for and oversee the governance culture and the management of CSR. Shareholders approve the appointment of directors and hold them accountable for the performance of the company. So as a key part, directors' responsibility is to ensure that an effective corporate governance structure operates in the company. The governance structure should ensure that reasonable financial and growth targets are set, achieved, and risk is properly managed while taking in account the interest of the shareholders, customers, employees, creditors, and general public. As well, CSR's corporate governance culture, our way of doing business, including leadership by the board and senior management, is critical to CSR's continuing success. Also, the directors are responsible to approve the CSR policy for the company and ensure only those activities must be undertaken which are within the purview of the CSR policy. So basically, the activities which is mentioned in the CSR policy, only that should be only on those activities CSR amount should be used or spent.
Again, it is in correspondence with the Schedule 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
The board of director needs to ensure that the company spends a minimum of 2% of the average net profit made during the 3 immediately financial year as per the CSR policy. The report of the board of directors in the annual report needs to disclose the composition of the CSR committee, the contents of the CSR policy. Also, the board of directors has to make and they have to ensure that whenever the company CSR spending does not meet 2% as per CSR policy, the reasons for the unspent amount and the details of the transfer of unspent amount relating to an ongoing project to a specified fund, it should be transferred within the 6 months from the expiry of the financial year. Also, they have to disclose that in the annual board report. Now let's see the liabilities CFO or the KMP is having the extremely important amendment in 2021 in Rule 4, Sub-Rule 5. The board of a company shall satisfy itself that the funds so disbursed have been utilized for the purposes and in the manner as approved by it, and the CFO or the person responsible for the financial management shall certify to the effect. So basically, in addition to the monitoring by the board, it requires the CFO or alike to give utilization certificate of the disbursement made. So this makes the role of the monitoring all more crucial. This clause makes CFO apparently more responsible for the entire CSR provision without him being a part of the member of the CSR committee or the board of directors. So this is the specimen provided by ICSI in the guidelines of 2021. They have issued the guidelines. And in this specimen, the CFO has to certify this CSR spend. So basically, the information will be on the CSR project implemented through amount sanctioned, amount disbursed, amount utilized, and unspent amount, if any. Now coming to the penalties for the non-compliance of CSR.
I think Kiran Kumar has raised the hand. Yes, Kiran. What is your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Madam, can you? Yes, this one only. Actually, here what happened means we are telling that CSR unspent amount finalization of that amount. So our grant amount is we have a CSR fund and a donor is there, and 2 crores is the amount. In the 2 crores, so they have submitted utilization of 1 crore, and we can treat that remaining 1 crore is unspent, and we can. This is related to ongoing program, and remaining balance 1 crore we can treat it as a unspent. So that is the treatment we should follow. But one donor, what happened means we have a 2 crore grant amount is there, and the utilization they have submitted also 2 crores. But what happened means by 31st March we haven't transferred that 1 crore amount. So first installment only we released that 1 crore, and the second installment we haven't released it by 31st March because the donor submitted that utilization for the balance amount after 31st March, because their financials and everything will be finalized after 31st March. They will take 2 to 3 weeks. So they were submitted in the month of April. So in that case, that balance amount, whatever that 1 crore amount can be treated as unspent, or it's not an unspent, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. That is my question, because what happened means if any unutilized amount means, then we need to transfer that amount to that unspent CSR. But here what happened means the funds are utilized by the implementation partner. But donor hasn't donor has to keep that fund in unutilization, or else they can keep in that regular account only. So that is my question.
In my opinion, when we are executing any CSR fund through implementing agency, we have to take care that whatever amount has been transferred to them, it is not a matter of utilization. Whatever amount has been utilized by the implementing agency till 31st March, only that amount can be considered as CSR amount spent. If any amount, even the amount has been transferred to implementing agency and they have not given the utilization certificate for the full amount, and some amount is unspent, even after transfer to donee, that means implementing agency, that should be considered an unspent amount, in my opinion.
Okay. So in that case, what happened means whatever that 2 crore means 1 crore we have released that 1 crore first installment released, and second installment we haven't released that amount. But the implementation partner has given that utilization for 2 crore. Then that will be not treated as a unspent CSR account, and we need not to transfer that amount to that unspent CSR.
One clarification I need that this utilization certificate till 31st March, how much amount has been given? For 2 crore or for 1 crore?
2 crores, sir.
Till 31st March.
Yes, till 31st March, 2 crores.
So 2 crore, you see, they have utilized, then we can consider for 2 crore. If we have paid more than 2 crore, so the rest amount will be considered as unspent.
No, we have paid under amount, sir. So 2 crores utilization, and we have paid 1 crore only.
Then what you are saying is you are supposed to make a contribution of 2 crores, correct?
Yes.
But you have decided to release only 50% of that. 50% you are not contributed at all.
Yes.
That is the first part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the question is, if we go to the CSR report, what is the amount is required to be contributed? Whether all the amount has been contributed.
Yeah.
What you are going to say there on that?
Yes, sir. So it is not that contribution. So it is contribution is 2%. So but what happened means this is only for one implementation partner. So our CSR fund is 6 crores amount. Out of that 6 crores, ongoing program related 2 crores, one implementation partner is there. But what happened means this 2 out of this 2 crores, 1 crore we transfer to that implementation partner. Okay. And another 1 crore we need to transfer by 31st March 2022. Okay, but there what happened means the second installment, whatever the second installment is there, the implementation partner has given a utilization in the month of January, stating that 1 crore amount only. But remaining 3 months, whatever the 3 months period is there, we told him that you please give that second installment, if you want that second installment, means you please give a confirmation that you can utilize the total amount or not. He told that it is related to construction because we are constructing that health program, Saki centers for that pregnant women and everybody. So in that aspirational districts, that is Kionjor and some other districts in Odisha. So the implementation partner also told that, sir, we will give that confirmation by 30, means before 31st March only. So then you can transfer that amount. If anything is there, means because to get that utilization is also very difficult from the partners nowadays because the chartered accountant has to verify all those things. So CFO utilization is okay, but chartered accountant utilization means it will take around 2 to 3 weeks, and there may be variances also there. So that is why what we told means you please give that confirmation means. Then they told that okay, you do one thing, sir, that 1 crore amount whatever the is there. So depending on that utilization, you please transfer. So after that 31st March, he has given 2 crore amount. But till that 31st March, we haven't transferred that amount to that implementation partner.
In
So
my
the
opinion,
funds only there. There is no any, yeah.
In my opinion, if we
Yes,
are
sir, yeah.
using that amount in our company, we have not contributed, we have not transferred that amount to the implementing agency. That means that amount we are using. So at the time of 31st March, we should consider both the things. How much UC certificate has been given and how much we have contributed. In my opinion. Rakesh sir.
Yeah, here very tricky things that there is two ways to handle it. First, if the bill has been raised, then we have to take it as a contribution. We have already contributed because for the trust, once they are doing the accounting, etc., they get the 3 months time for settlement. And if the bills have been raised, so till 3 months, suppose 30th June, any spend is there, they can take it as a spend during the financial year itself. So that way, if the bill raised, of course, there is a clause, the bill raised. This is the one thing which we have to understand. Second thing, payment to the vendor or payment to the implementing agency should always be subject to the construction. If the construction is already there to a certain extent, or they can complete by 31st March, accordingly we should pay. If there is the unpaid amount we have not paid, then that should be taken as an unspent amount and transferred to the separate bank account. And as and when the requirement, we should pay from that. Because implementing agencies has already informed that it's an ongoing project kind of, because it is not completing in one financial year, then unspent amount to be treated.
There only actually our internal auditors, that company secretary internal auditors raised that question, because what happened means the utilization we are having, then in that case we think that it's not that unspent amount. So only funds transfer is left. Funds transfer is from our side only left. So that is why we haven't done that unspent CSR. We haven't transferred that to unspent CSR. But the company secretary informed raised that question that no, if you are not transferred any funds, even you get that utilization certificate, then that will be treated as an unspent CSR. You need to transfer that amount into that unspent CSR. Then we asked that same question that is there any rule is there, madam, like this means no, it is an implied. So there is no any particular clarity on that MCA this thing. So we need to consider like that. So
I tell you that we should be very careful in the month of March.
Yes.
That what are the amount we are supposed to spend, transfer, what are amount we can't transfer. And accordingly, we should decide that what the treatment will be taken care of. So in the March, we are used to do the exercise. How much amount we can contribute by 31st March and how much work can be completed, and how much work can be completed in 1 or 2 months, or the bill has already been raised by any of the vendor to the implementing agency, and implementing agency has passed on to the bill to us. So everything you will have to consider. Accordingly, you have to transfer the fund and you have to treat. If you have not transferred the fund to the implementing agency, it's still lying with you till 31st March, it is unspent amount.
Yeah,
whatever amount it is.
Absolutely, you are right. Even in spite of getting that he has utilized the money, you are not transferred the money. That means you are not contributed. That means you are not spent the money.
And suppose you have transferred, but not spent by the implementing agency, there is some timeline. 3 months you can take. The auditors take that.
Correct. That is the unspent amount. That is right.
Yes.
I think one more question has come here.
Yeah, sir, one more question if you can allow me. So,
yes.
It is related to finalization of that ongoing program. So how do we finalize one ongoing program, sir? Because actually you have given some small point also. So we need to put that ongoing program in that board meeting, and board has to approve that project should be as a ongoing program, and it should be minuted in that minutes of meeting. But here what happened means in our this thing, what happened means we haven't minuted. We have discussed it with the board meeting and everything, but in that minutes of meeting, it was not there. So the program, so whatever that 6 crore program is there, that is for 3 years program, same health program only. So we have discussed with that board and everybody, and the board also agreed, but the point was not minuted in that minutes of meeting. Then it will be treated as an ongoing program, or else it should not be treated as ongoing program, sir.
See, technically it should be minutized, that which activity is supposed to be ongoing, which activity is other than the ongoing projects. So it should be definitely minutized. Second is the nature of work. You have to justify with the nature of work. If it is not at the time of approval of the budget or the plan, it is not considered as an ongoing project. In the next meeting or subsequent meeting, you can take it and get it approved.
Yes,
this way you can take handle this issue.
Yes, sir. Sure. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. There's a question is there. Company makes a CSR contribution to the group foundation set up by the parent company. CFO appointment is not applicable to the company. Query is what can be done with the CFO certification, or what best practices can be adopted. See, CFO appointment is not applicable, does not mean there is nobody there who's actually getting the finance function. Because whosoever is in charge of the finance, whosoever is actually handling the finance operations, he will be, for all the purposes, will be treated for this purpose for issuing a certificate. So you should get a certificate for the person who's in charge of the finance, who's releasing the fund. That is what it should be. Yeah.
Yes,
Next
sir,
question. Yeah. Next question is, what is the time for spend amount for March 2022 of the amount of 2% the net profit of 2019 and 20 and 2021?
For 1920, if unspent amount you have, means 2021, 2020, 21, 22, 21, 22, 23. So 31st March 23 is the last day.
Okay.
You have to spend that amount.
For financial year 2022, it was 30th September 22. Somebody has given the message here.
You have to calculate next 3 years. That's simple. Okay. I don't go into the calculation, but 3 years you have to calculate.
Okay. If a company is liable to transfer the fund schedule 6, then what is the time limit of the transfer of 6 months of the expiry of the financial year, or within the 30 days from the date of the completion of the third financial year, as per the subsection 6 of the section 135?
It is financial year we have to take, 6 months you have to take.
Yeah, financial year you have to take. Yeah. Yeah, that's all the question. Now you can move forward.
Okay. So now let's see the penalties for non-compliance of CSR. So the amendments 2021 have introduced monetary penalties for the company and every officer in default under subsection 7 of section 135.
Some crosstalk is happening. Can somebody put up the mic, please? Yeah. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah. So under subsection 7 of section 135 for non-compliance with the provisions relating to undertaking of CSR expenditure and transfer to unspent CSR account or Schedule 7 fund as applicable, a defaulting company is now liable for the lesser of rupees 1 crore or twice the amount that should have been transferred to unspent CSR account or the Schedule 7 specified fund. Also, additionally, a defaulting officer is now liable for the lesser of rupees 2 lakh or 1/10 of the amount that should have been transferred to the unspent CSR account or Schedule 7 specified fund. So here the company and the default officer both are liable to pay the penalties for the non-compliance of the CSR.
Company will pay the money from their company's fund, but officer will have to pay from their own pocket. That is the difference here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that is why company's penalty is 200% and officer deposit is 10% of the unspent amount. Yeah.
Yes. So there was a recent case law which, so to understand the regulatory action on default or the non-compliance, we can go through the one recent decided case law on this matter by the ROC of New Delhi. So the adjudicating officer Pranay Chaturvedi, registrar of companies and city of Delhi and Haryana, appointed by the MCA, recently imposed a penalty in total of rupees 15,40,341 on Comviva Technologies Limited and its directors for the delay in transferring CSR fund. So what happened in this case is Comviva Technologies Limited, they have transferred their unspent amount within the given time frame in the unspent CSR account. But there was some technical error and they haven't checked that error. So actually the CSR amount couldn't transfer to the unspent CSR account within the given time frame due to some technical error. And thereafter they have, when they realized it was already more than 6 months, and then they have wrote the letter to the MCA. So they have received the revert also, the show cause notice, where they had to mention the reason. But the final decision given by the ROC of the New Delhi was they have to pay the penalty in total of 15,40,341. So the CFO, CS, and the MD, and all the 4 directors, all of them has to pay 55,012 rupees each. Okay, and the company has to pay 11,244, which was twice the amount of untransferred amount. And the actually amount they forgot to transfer within the timeline, that was 5,50,122. So basically for like unspent amount 5,50,122, that non-compliance, they have to pay total 15,40,341 rupees to the ROC. So in this particular case, the company and its directors, CFO and the company secretary, all were penalized for not transferring the unspent amount within the prescribed time limit. To avoid such penalties, the company and its directors and officers must take care of everything that, and they must ensure that there is a timely absolute compliances. So the concept of CSR introduced through Companies Act 2013 puts a greater responsibility on companies in our country to set out a clear CSR framework. CSR is all about corporate giving back to the society. The company secretary professionals are expected to be well versed about the legal and technical requirements with respect to CSR in order to guide the management and the board of directors of the company to ensure that there is an absolute compliance of the provisions relating to CSR under the Act. In case there is, yeah.
Then one question has come.
Yeah.
Paying the college fee to your student directly to the company by the college, directly to by the company to the college, will it be CSR contribution?
It should be, and it should be as per the CSR policy which you have and the plan which is approved by the board.
Yeah, somebody has actually given an answer to that. Normally, this is the contribution of CSR contribution subject to there should be a memorandum of understanding with the college for whom this is applicable. Yeah, I think it is right actually, because it is under, so long as it is in the Schedule 7, which is permitted activity is there. If you have an understanding with the college, yes, it will be applicable to the category of the students and etc. etc. Yes, it should be permitted. Yeah. Go ahead then.
Yeah. So basically, in the case of Comviva Technologies, it was fault on their part that they haven't checked that whether CSR unspent amount, it got actually transferred to the unspent CSR account or not. And so that they have to pay the very high penalty than their unspent CSR amount. So in case of any or all of the provisions relating to CSR is not fulfilled, the company would end up paying the very high severe penalty in case of the non-compliances. So it is very, this is where the all the BODs, CFO, KMPs, they have to play a very crucial role to save themselves for the, from the penalty and the goodwill stake. So
in this particular case, I always believe, rather practice, doing the thing first time right. That should be the concept.
yes,
We should always aim to do that. Doing the right thing first time right. But here what has happened? The company has actually transferred the money within this 30 days time through the banking channels. But the technical reason, the money did not get transferred, it reverted back to the company's account. But the problem here is, people thought money is transferred, the job is done. But nobody has cared to check whether the money has really got transferred, number one. Number two, worst come worst, even at the end of the month, they could have checked it, whether bank reconciliation has been done, whether it is still showing what is it, etc. That also is not done. Here, the failure of the CS not to check whether the money has really transferred, with the failure of the CFO, whether the transaction done is successful or not successful, or even subsequently not reconciling it, even the routine things which has been actually failed. Such a failure is actually amounted to non-transfer of the money in time. They are landed up in this problem. So which means we cannot take things lightly. That's what I would definitely say that. Yeah.
yes.
Sir, I would like to add that what the process we follow. Whatever, if there is any unspent amount, we give the intimation to the accounts department. And before 30th of April, 31st of April, we take the statement from the accounts department whether the amount has been credited. If the amount is credited, bank statement, and then we keep it in our file. So we are safe. So that is same practice, I think other members should also follow.
Yeah, right. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Dali.
Yes. Yeah, so there are, these are some of the FAQs, which I will read out. In case an entity covered under clause 5 of section 1023C of IT Act is engaged exclusively in religious activity, which is not covered under Schedule 7, such entity cannot be appointed as an implementing agency. So the answer is no. The entity is covered under state subclause of section 1023C of the IT Act should be engaged in undertaking Schedule 7 activities to be able to act as implementing agencies. That's what we have discussed earlier. So moving to second question, the penal proceedings apply even after the unspent amount has been transferred to the unspent CSR account or the funds mentioned in Schedule 7 of the Act. The penalty does not relieve the company from the obligations under the law, and the penalty is over and above the obligation amount required to be transferred under Section 135(5) or 135(6). The penalty is consequence of not abiding by the law and not an alternative for the same. So here, even if the companies has transferred the amount after the after the given time to the unspent CSR account, still they want to be saved from the penalty they have to pay. Then the next question is, what are the penal provisions relating to non-compliance with the provisions other than Section 135(5) or 135(6) of the Act? So in case of non-compliance with any other provisions of this section or rules, the provisions of Section 134(8) or general penalty under Section 450 of the Act will be applicable. Further, in case of non-payment of penalty within the stipulated period, the provisions of Section 454, subsection 8 will be applicable. Yeah, yes, Bala sir.
Yeah, so with this, we come to an end of the session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, chat box. I don't think there is any queries actually pending. So we have taken up all the queries. I think the time is also already up. Rather, it is exceeded.
Yeah.
I'd like to take the opportunity to expressing my sincere thanks to the faculties, especially Rakesh and Ashok, sharing their views, giving their inputs and their practical experiences, etc. And all these things. I'm very much thankful to both of them. I think definitely this session would have added our recent amendment, the requirement, etc. And we could also see the interaction from the people. It was really a good interaction between the people. And it is really, I would say, a good session. It is a learning for me also on the ongoing basis. And it is the same with the other people also. And I think this presentation will be made mailed to all the participants to their mail ID to whom they have registered. And even the proceedings also will be available in the record in the YouTube channel. You all can access us. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for everybody.
Yeah.
I think would like to thank Rakesh Bhai and Mr. Suresh also for this wonderful support. This is the way, like, we spread the knowledge, and probably, it's more of a learning kind of a thing, two-way learning rather than one way, the same. So thank you, Mr. Rakesh again, and Mr. Suresh, So thanks, Dolly, and thanks, Mr. Bala, for wonderful support.
I can see in the chat box, there are a lot of messages are coming. Many thanks. People say it is a very good session. And people say many thanks for this thing. People say we are all connected so much here. All the things which are actually coming here. And the people say also it's a good learning session. There are a lot of appreciation which are actually coming to that.
Yeah. And so we also request participants to suggest some topic also, good topics, so we can bring those good topics. And we can also bring some good faculties, on this platform. So Rakesh Bhai, we are doing it for last almost, almost more than a year now. So we had hold more than 50. Mr. Bala, more than 50 programs by this time?
Yeah, 100%.
And these are all, very touchy to our company secretary profession, the same. So thanks you once again for support and all, sir. And look forward, for your support again. Thanks, Mr. Bala. Thanks, Dolly, for this wonderful presentation.
Thanks to one and all. Thanks a lot to Dolly for your wonderful presentation. You have done a very good job.
Thank you, Bala sir, Ashok sir, and Rakesh sir for your.
Ashok ji,
Thank you all the attendees of the webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Ashok ji, thank you very much, for your time. We'll connect with you after this program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Have a good day. Good weekend.
Thank you.
Good day to all of you.